Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV once again. Tonight I have the pleasure to have two good personalities. One is quite a good friend, but quite an elder in the policy society of Cambodia, Dr. May Kalyan.
Thank you.
Yes. And a new friend, but somebody who knows Cambodia very well is Mr. Jun Ari, and he's with the Mitsubishi.
Yes.
So I will give you time a bit later on to tell a bit about yourself and the company. Yes, it's a pleasure. Welcome. Yeah, and formality. Okay. But today the focus of our dialogue will be more on the role of Japanese company, Japanese government, if I can enlarge it, into the development of this country, of our country. And it'd be interesting to hear the perspective of an industrialist, and also from a policy maker. And hopefully the audience will have a good feel on, where Cambodia came from, from a perspective of economic development, and perhaps also a glimpse of the future and how can Japanese company play a role, in the development of our society here. So I'm going to start, a bit with you, Bong. Kalyan, you're trained, you live in Japan for a long time when you're young. Now you're back home.
No, I'm still young though.
Yeah, you're still young, slightly older than me, but I think you understand quite well the policy consideration of the Japanese government toward Cambodia.
Right.
Perhaps you can set the stage a bit.
Yeah. Thanks. I was in Japan since 1974, so I study also about Japanese development and theory and so on. So in short, Japan is one of the most important country for Cambodia. When we talk nowadays, we talk, China like this, US like this, kind of superpower. We tend to ignore other main player for us. So just to mention that Japan is also one of the important country in Asia, and for us as well. And so many assistance has been given to us in terms of human resources development, infrastructure. Now it is time for real development of private sectors. That only through that we could take development of our countries. If you look at the history of Japan assistance to Southeast Asia and South Asia, you see a lot of Japan contributions. In the old day, as you know, only Japan that we could call the developed countries in Asia. So Japan played very, very important role in this region in terms of trade, in terms of development assistance, in terms of human resources. Like me, I'm one of the beneficiaries of the system, right? So I think Japan know Asia well. Japan worked with us for a long time. Look at Korea, look at Taiwan, look at Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, all these in Southeast Asia countries, one way or another, have a good relation with Japan, and they prosper together, co-prosper together.
Well, you mentioned history, but I think it's important we give credit to Japan for helping us get the peace back. I mean, let's face it, Japan is one of the sort of like I would say initiator, founder, whatever you call it, of the Paris, co-chair, co-sponsor of the Paris Peace Accord. And later on, you have the ICOG, which also in Tokyo. So Japan was very, very, I would say, play a very crucial role in the early days of our peace process. And then Japan continued on, to sustain through ODA, and in recent years through private sector, right? And this is where I'm so glad, June, that you're here today from a private sector industrialist perspective. But perhaps you give a short, introduction about yourself to the audience.
Well, I'm here with a capacity of representing Japanese Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia. Of course, I'm working with Mitsubishi more than 30 years, and
you don't look that old. You must start young.
But I've been specialize in grain industry because Japan cannot be sustained from food security's point of view. We're not self-sufficient, so we need a partner to supply our food. So that's how I posted to overseas, including Australia, Singapore. Now I'm in Cambodia. But what I would like to highlight today to the audience of your TV program is that motivation of Japanese people. Why we are here in Cambodia, and why we are trying hard to cooperate with people in Cambodia. Number one is after World War II, Cambodia is one of the first country to waive the compensation. This is very important. And we took this from our predecessors, meaning our father's generation. That we must reciprocate. So that's the.
I never knew that.
This is very important, and one of the first country to establish the diplomatic relationship. So we appreciate that very much after the war, and we took that legacy from our father's generation to ourselves. So our sincerity, our motivation is there. And also the other thing is, like you mentioned, in late 1970s, you had a civil war, and after the civil war, Japan played a key role in international diplomatic area, because Japan used to be called just paying money to keep the peace, and we don't shed the blood, and we just pay the money, and you think you'll be okay with international relationship. But with Cambodia, we sent the police, we peacekeeping.
UN peacekeeping. That was your first mandate.
First one.
First mandate.
So Cambodia is the theater where Japanese diplomacy played a key role for the first time after the war.
Mr. Akashi.
Mr. Akashi. So these things underlying support for our motivation to help and cooperate with the Cambodian government, Cambodian people. And yesterday I took the first flight, direct flight, from Japan to Cambodia. And this is rather late, amongst the 10 ASEAN countries. Apart from Vientiane, Laos, we have all the direct flight everywhere. But Cambodian is one of the last. So, but still, never too late.
Never too late.
Also, what I would like to highlight, and also to draw the attention of the younger generation of Cambodian people, is that we don't look things now, the market, with GDP times population. It's not that anymore, because you have ASEAN, AEC now. So you should think about your character to be able to survive within the region.
In the region.
And connectivity and competitiveness.
I was about to say
where
that.
you can find your own way. Because you don't have to follow the footsteps of Vietnam or Thailand, from agriculture to light industry, heavy industry. You have a super fertile land with you, and you should take advantage of it, and you can be the whole supply source of ASEAN. So why not? This is not against the policy maker, but his rice policy is not for the rice. His rice policy is for alternative crop to be able to maximize the return, and also to get into the process area, value adding. So these things that we have to consider seriously, rather than just go on to the light industry, heavy industry, and the footsteps of the past developed country is not the example for you.
So it's quite interesting how you present a different angle as with due respect to our fellow ADB or World Bank, UNDP, they come with a certain path, right? But from an industrialist, from a private sector, you see different way, right? But how before we get to Cambodia, what are from your perspective, how do you see ASEAN as a region in terms of economic opportunity, in terms of industrial development, in terms of production chain? Of course, later on we will go to the issue of agriculture diversification, which is very dear to Bong Kalyan, Dr. Kalyan, and me, because we are part of the 4 years ago we were part of the rice policy making process.
Yes.
So paint us a bit the picture on what motivates Japanese company to invest in the region in a global supply chain.
Well, if you go for labor intensive, you keep on going to say ASEAN, Africa,
yes,
and so on.
You keep going for where's the cheapest place.
But the things are different now, and I think the high tech,
yes,
the most modernized machinery or technology,
yes,
can fill the gap in between developed country and undeveloped country.
Yes. Yes.
So we should consider how we can uplift the basic farm management.
Yes.
And also to select the right crop. I mean, rice is basically planted in an area and consumed in an area.
Yeah.
So it's not really tradable or the commodity to import and export.
Yes.
So maybe you should, from food security's point of view in
yes,
Cambodia, 4 million tons is enough.
Is enough.
But with your country, without the endeavor or effort, you can get 10 million.
Yes.
So that's the problem, and people just
are comfortable.
Sort of a lucky country,
Yeah.
because apart from Pol Pot era, you never gone through the starvedness. You
famine.
rich, very lucky country.
Yes.
So if you consider your development of the country, you should go on to the other crops,
yes,
or value-added chain.
Give me some idea.
Well, first of all, vegetable, and the fruits. I live in Cambodia for more than 2 years now, and we get the beautiful fruits, but only the season.
Yes.
You can't store them.
Yes.
And if you want to eat some fruits out of season, you got to buy import from
from other countries,
Vietnam or Thailand.
Yes.
But you have better quality and better production.
Yeah.
Why not arrange the total supply chain management, including logistics, including transportation and warehouse, and cold chain. So this is the key to, but this has to be led by public sector.
Yes.
To show the farmers or producers that there is an opportunity, and they will be subsidized.
Yes.
Then farmers get the courage or comfortableness to challenge the new things.
Yes.
So from Japanese perspectives, rice is a commodity for its own country.
Yes.
But other than rice, so sorry.
Well, I think it's good time to take a short break. When we come back, I'm gonna ask Dr. Kalyan, who's formerly retired from FAO, and he can share a bit his perspective from a UN organization.
From practical, from expert point of view.
All right, thank you. I will take a short break. Yes.
Thank you.
Bong Kalyan, okay. you're formerly a senior economist from the World of the
Food and Agriculture
Organization, FAO. Yeah, you retired when?
2000. You ask this I showed the age, right?
Yeah. Okay, 2000 something. Okay, 2000 something. Okay, good. But what is your June have a very provocative view on agriculture diversification, right? We are still traditionalists in a way. You know, I think as of 4 years ago when we were working on the rice policy, I would say we try to at least build on an agricultural sector that we know well. But there are other things that June has highlighted. What's your view?
Before I directly answer to this, I just to recap what Jun said before, because I was trained and educated and worked in Japan for 14 years as well. So just to emphasize what he said, the relation Japan and Cambodia is not only about economics.
Yes.
It's about spiritual, about morality. It's about connectivity in our heart, right?
Yes.
As an Asian countries, we have to help each other. I think this is the point. Number one. And point number two, I think you mentioned yourself, we tend to Japan, FDI, you know, we are so short-sighted about all this. But in fact, there are also political other aspects of supporting us. Right?
Yes.
I think this is things...
it's more comprehensive in view, more strategic in view.
Right. Not only wording, right?
Yes.
I know that some diplomats from Japan, they start working even during the Khmer Rouge time.
Wow.
During the Khmer Rouge time. Work behind the scene.
Yes.
How could they work with us, supporting us, right? So, spiritual thing, political thing, economic thing come together. It's a long way. It's not only what this company or that company, how much invest.
Now with the ANA direct flight, there'll be more people-to-people cultural connectivity. Please, sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, because Jun was talking about agriculture, I totally support him. I agree with him. We talk a lot about all this. We tend to go the normal flow, you know. If we flow that way, just continue to do the same thing. At the end of the day, what is agriculture? Agriculture is about political, it's about social, cultural, and economics. Okay. So talking about economic, you talk about making value added, right? Making value added of that sectors, of agriculture sector. Not rice is not agriculture. Rice alone is not agriculture. Sorry, because agriculture there are other crops as well, right? So because Cambodian traditionally we just follow rice. We continue to do the same thing, but I think over the years, you know, the course of the tanker, rice tanker, kind of shift the course somehow, right?
Yes.
We understand what Jun was saying, because the bottom line is about value added, about how to raise the life of the farmer better than before. Not we produce how many ton, export how many ton. It's not an issue. Issue is how to make life of the people better. If you look at the poverty, talk about poverty, mostly in the rural areas, right? So that is the key. I normally say when people say, in the next 5-10 years we have to have drone, we have to have helicopters, you know, to do fertilizers for rice. I think, is it profitable? Question, right? So if it's not profitable, we better look for other ways to make it profitable. Having said that, but we do not say that forget all about the rice, right? We continue to keep rice as a
food security.
Food security. But on top of that, it's about well-being, about money, about added. So what next should we do? For example, within the rice itself, there are so many ways of thinking about rice, right? Not only the normal rice, but what product that make you higher value added. And then I'm pleased to mention that after this meeting, I'm going to have another meeting with an organization. We talk about the same thing. How do we diversify agriculture? So exactly, we move to that direction while keeping the rice going as it is. Right? But at the same time, we have to emphasize on a certain crop that could change the landscape of agriculture somehow. We are in the right direction now.
Good. So I mean, I want to touch a bit on technology, which is very important. Nowadays, with the advance of technology, June, you rightly say so, we can, sort of like catch up with I wouldn't say catch up with the developed world yet, but at least it gives us a good momentum, a good speed to accelerate, so at least we can reduce the 20-year time frame into 10, hopefully into 5. So as an industrialist, how do you see, where do you see Cambodia in the spectrum of the use of technology, and what are your advice if we are moving forward to capture that technological trend?
Well, first of all, the members of Japanese Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia number is about 220.
Yes.
And it's been increasing rapidly from 2010. But if you scrutinize the detail, what type of the sector they are in, recently more and more commercial sector, meaning legal firm, accounting firm, and restaurants. Of course, this service sector is very important to diversify
support,
and also the life of the Cambodian people.
Sure.
But I think the government is geared towards manufacturing.
Yes.
And when you say manufacturing, just not the part of the automobile and so forth, but there are so many mediocre sized high-tech company in Japan who like to expose themselves to global market. And those companies with a Cambodian people's sentiment towards Japanese and the food and especially water is kept well with PPWSA. And this is very important. And then the geographical advantage, of ASEAN. At least with
the Greater Mekong sub-region.
And how can we invite them to Cambodia? What type of SEZ we should create? That's very crucial for mediocre-sized company to venture themselves to the new area. So, as I told you, there are so many high-tech and very mediocre-sized, modernized, future technology inventing companies are there. So we should try to invite them.
So in other words, you're part of what we like to always refer to the big five, right? The big trading house, right? But then you were saying that, look, Cambodia should reach out more for the medium size of company who may not, venture out from Japan. I think it's a good advice, but how do you do that? Because the big company, they're comfortable with the global market, right? But for mid-size, how do you make them comfortable?
This is a very difficult question, and we are trying to increase the number of the companies, the member of the Chamber of Commerce, but we like to we are targeting to those companies to come. So these companies specialize in agricultural area, high tech, supporting agriculture machinery. These companies will be confident to venture in Cambodia with the public sector of Cambodia's support and subsidy, and show the direction where you're heading. We are not heading to the light industry or heavy industry like Thai or Vietnam, but we are heading to total supply chain management of agriculture. If you say so, then agriculture related machinery or high-tech company will venture themselves.
It's like in the rice sector, we see a dramatic upgrade of company who are providing good rice processing related machinery, don't you think?
Yeah, I'd like to add to what Mr. Ari was saying. We tend to look at a big, right?
Yeah.
Even a small or even micro
Yes.
Japanese company would be enough for our countries.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So let's target to attract more of them. But just to add to Mr. Ari was saying, I think to support those small company from Japan now, there's effort from both sides, from Japanese government side as well from our side. From Japanese government side, I know so many institutions, so many systems now, like promoting, pushing.
JETRO, for example.
JETRO and other, even JICA,
Yes.
there's so many funding to support them to come here because, as you know, sorry, not a criticism, but small Japanese company, their capacities, their technical capacity is there, but normally they have problem with language, English, contact, and so on. So I think that gives them the chance. I meet so many companies like that. And from our side also, I heard there's so many initiatives now has been done to have a CEO, joint CEO council, something like that. So that the Cambodian head of companies and Japanese head of company could meet each other, could discuss each other.
Yes.
Because when they come, the Japanese company to come, how do they find the partner?
Okay.
So many effort has been done. Just come back to your about technical aspect. Technical aspect from the ABC of economics. To produce something and to get output, to produce something, basically you need three things. Capital, technologies, and labor force. So technology is unavoidable. And then you get the product, right? So talk about these technologies equation. The technologies could be that we do ourselves. Cambodia could develop our technologies, or we bring technologies through FDR from Japan, from any country.
Transfer to technology and know-how.
Know-how. So either come from abroad or we do ourselves, but we do ourselves not from scratch. Right? We have to catch up quickly because we could not go to basics. And these technologies, when we talk about technology, we tend to talk about the big company, making space shuttle or so. But even agriculture need technologies. The same equation. Capital, technologies, human. And then output. Right? This is the basic. So even rice or even agriculture, anything, we need technologies. They say that in agriculture, a big portion, somebody says 70% is technologies, and only 40% is only your sweat and blood, right? So technologies play a big part of that. Come back to agriculture sector, our technologies level is too low. Too low.
All right.
We know only about making rice from traditional seed, for example, never improve. You remember I work a lot on sieve?
Yes, exactly.
Sieve is one of the good example about technologies plus diversification of agriculture, right? These two things combined together, but unfortunately never fly out because there are so many problems.
Okay, but I think I'm going to go back to June and to complement what June was saying a bit, that how do we get the mid-sized Japanese company to come to Cambodia? I think the ecosystem of an entrepreneurship, in this case, more likely it is entrepreneur and mid-sized, right? They need a good ecosystem, not just in business, but also about the social, the support structure. And I'm glad your ambassador, Japanese ambassador told me that in September they will inaugurate a Japanese hospital run by a Japanese doctor. We have Eon. They're building the second mall, right? You have a lot of good Japanese restaurant. You have, I think a bit of everything in the service sector, which to me I think is important to respond to your concern that, if they come, they have an issue with language, they have an issue with dealing. But if the ecosystem is adequate, then they say, okay, look, if I'm sick, I can go to a Japanese doctor who can speak the language. I went to Eon and I had my tooth cleaned by a Japanese dentist. All right. I mean, no, it's there. It's convenient.
Also karaoke though.
Yeah. You know, you
Golf
have,
course, karaoke.
yes.
Yeah?
So
School, Japanese school.
I think the Japanese school is opening, right?
No, opened already.
Open already, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to wrap up for this session by saying I am confident that our ecosystem to support the arrival of new Japanese mid-size and entrepreneur is there. Yeah. So let's build on that foundation. Let's build on that base. And when we come back, we're gonna go more to a bit more recommendation as to how do you see Cambodia and Japan relation 5 year, 10 year down the road when we want to achieve the true middle income economy. Right now we're still lower middle. Okay. So we'll take a short break. All right, we're back. We have a chance to look back in the history, way back to right after the Second World War. I mean, wow, that's a long history. Then we fast forward. It is like a movie. You click fast forward. We fast forward to the period of when we have the peace accord. Along the way, we move forward for the next 20 years. How to see Cambodia develop. We are now in the present, right? And I would say we're doing fine. We're doing well. The direct flight of All Nippon Airways to Cambodia, is a testimony of the confidence of the Japanese, sort of like confidence in our market. Now let's project ourselves, 10 years down the road. We just graduate into the lower middle income country, according to the World Bank nomenclature. But according to the UN, we still categorize as a least developed country. We aim to graduate from that status. So 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, right, on the short term, how do you see and what do we have to do to make sure that Cambodia, do not fall into the so-called middle income trap, which will prevent us to reach our ambition to become a true middle income policy wise first, and then June you give your private sector input.
Practical
Private sector input.
Medium to long term. First about middle income trap. There's various theories about this.
Yes.
And some people say, there's middle income trap. There's a trap.
There's a trap.
But other theories say, the trap is everywhere anyway.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Either you are low or you are high.
You're right.
So not only middle income trap, right?
Low income trap.
Yeah. Look at British, for example, right? This
Brexit trap.
Brexit trap or high income trap, right?
Okay. Okay.
So the trap is everywhere. So if we're not careful, we could be in a trap. Like I play golf a lot, so I know the trap everywhere. to be careful about this word.
I need to start golf someday when I'm old.
Okay, it could start anywhere.
Okay.
Then the policy. I'm economist, but I just hear in my eyes. Okay, economic projection. This is okay. That's fine. You're right. As long as we could be in peace, we could be developed, it's okay. But I think everyday effort is important. Every effort is important. To look at the long target. Let's be real. 10 years, 20 years, okay?
Yes.
But we have to do now with the right direction. That's why I keep saying that for me or for other people to understand, I think we have to have stabilities. We have the development, we have social justice,
yes,
and environment protection. I think that these four that I'm keeping in mind all the time, right?
Yes.
Stability, development, social justice that we are lacking, and then the environment. Yeah?
I want to add the word environmental stewardship.
Oh, stewardship. Okay, sorry, I'm not good at the English.
Yes.
I'm graduate from Japan, so my English is limited.
Okay.
So the fourth thing, if we follow the fourth thing, right? I think we go. I come to, because getting old, you think philosophical thing about that every country has its own way of doing things, right? even democracies, even development, different way. And then even Indian or African or us, anybody has his own happiness, right? So let's have stabilities, let's have peace, let's have development, and try to educate ourselves. I think bit by bit we will be there. Right? Maybe they go faster than us, but don't kill ourselves to just run and collapse, right? Yes. So just go in our own way,
pace,
on pace, and then have a clear direction what to do. And then, as I mentioned, stability is the main, and development. And development, what you're going to do?
Yes.
Like, we could go into industrial policies, agriculture policies, human resources, and so on and so forth. So we have to keep in mind all those things and the big pictures and go together.
Yes. So I agree with you, right? That if we go way back to '93 when I came back, worked for the UN.
I came back also meeting you.
Yes, exactly. And it's quite interesting because you look back, you're humble because where you're coming from, it was so hard.
Yeah, so hard.
And then now we fast forward 20 years later, we have all the comfort that we have here. Right. And thanks to what? Sense of peace and stability. Right. Political stability is very important, So I think we need to put a very pragmatic view, right? Go slow but steady. How many countries that have received and welcomed the UN peacekeeping force have been able to sustain such a long, peaceful period that enable development. Well, you got to start with development first. Forget about sustainable development if you don't have initial development. And that's why I think it's important that we recognize another actor, which is so crucial. The one who create job, the one who pay tax, the one to train. It's the private sector. I mean, here, June, I like to hear your perspective on how you see the role of the private sector, in this whole, sustainable development process, and how Japan private sector can contribute.
Well, having said that, the public sector has to demonstrate the leadership. The thing the Cambodia need is a commercial sector rise.
Yes.
This is, and also things has to be geared toward longer term perspectives. This is lacking in Cambodia at the moment. Long term, it is very important.
Okay.
And for instance, we are now.
Bear in mind, we are all older.
No, I'm
okay.
Younger half.
Younger half. Okay.
Not too long term.
Yeah.
The thing is, we are now currently implementing a signal system in Phnom Penh.
Yes.
100 signals.
Yes.
To be because now it's all independent.
Yes.
Different country donate this signal. Other countries donate this kind. Not connected. Not centralized. So we are doing this.
Yes.
And this can be developed into the future city planning.
Yes.
Connect because
master planning.
Our technology, our signal system includes a GPS connection and time changing system, and can be if the public transportation is the other problem in the city, and so the bus, if the bus comes, the car can be stopped by the signal. And also the bus can be prioritized his own way. So and this city plan is now done by the Cambodian government and Japanese donation, but why not commercial sector involve yourself to the part of it? Sort of a PPP, public sector private partnership, and because people are not following the rules of the traffic, but if the traffic system installed and the bus system installed, people gradually became more.
So June, what you try to say is that you gotta have a good infrastructure first to enable people to follow the rules.
That's right. The environment can change the people. We had the same thing in Japan when I was a kid. elder people are spitting and toileting outside.
Yes.
But if
Throwing
you have
trash.
if you have a clean public toilet, clean transport system, people
And
start to realize
trash can.
People start to realize what we should do. Why don't we keep the town clean to get our pride back? So these things are important, and you have to think ahead. Traffic system, public transportation, subway, all these things will enable people to follow the rules and also to be more graceful.
So the role of the public sector is very important.
Very important. But at the same time, commercial sector should involve themselves.
Okay.
Think ahead and do something workable with a grand master plan of the city.
So public-private sector is good in the sense that the public can help with the policy infrastructure in place, master planning, and then the private sector can move in with capital, with the speed of implementation, with the best and latest technology. I think this is quite. What do you think on that?
I think what lacking now in the public sector, you're right. We tend to say PPP, everything, or it's people, public-private partnership. Another P is people.
Yes.
But there's so many words going out right now, but I think it's important also, as Jim was saying, we have to have a long-term plan, vision.
Yes.
Right? For example, building a house, if you don't know where is the road coming, right, you are stuck. Right? So unless the government give a direction, this is a plan, our plan like this. So I think the government need to lead stronger than now, right? So still we are lacking. We tend to think about soft part, but also a hard side like engineering, right? City planning, all this become more and more important, and transport planning. So it's a hard call. But this is Cambodia is still lacking.
But well, I mean, June, I think if we talk about the old Phnom Penh capital, it's a bit difficult, right? Because the road. Look at Bang King Kong now; it's so congested. But let's give a chance. When you speak about smart city, new urban planning, Phnom Penh is growing, and they are now developing satellite city, still from scratch, right? So this is where I see the opportunity to do proper master planning, proper smart city planning. And now with technology, you're right. When you synchronize all this traffic, it helps with the flow. And with efficient traffic flow control, people are more patient because they know, okay, I just wait 30 seconds, I can go. Right now, they don't know whether they have to wait 10 minutes or half an hour.
City planning, as a layman, I think there are two ways. One is, if you have an old town already, you have to live in it, right? You could only incrementally changing, improving bit by bit. But as you say, if you have a space, right? So to do a new city, new town, I think we have to do properly. There are two ways. We have to be realistic in our way of doing things. But in doing this, you need a vision.
A vision.
You need anticipation ahead, what's going to happen, and I think this is extremely important.
And you mentioned your 4th point, which is environmental stewardship here. To a lot of people, they think environment, they think more of flood, natural disaster, storm, typhoon. But here, environmental stewardship, you're talking about how do you build a new city that use less energy, green energy, building that don't consume a lot, city light that have very low voltage, right? That sort of thing, a public transport system that do not just emit this diesel, black smoke, that sort of thing. This can be done. Technology can be done. And Cambodia is small enough. We are small enough that we can effectuate a lot of this policy.
And this connection, I think, you emphasize on technologies, but I think it's also important is communities. The people, right? Regardless of what nice thing, if they don't follow the rule, or they throw the trash, rubbish all over the place, it's the same thing. So the standard communities have to be educated, had to be culture. This is my worries every day. So the sense of communities is not there. I think this is our issue also.
I think a literacy campaign, civic duty. When we grew up, when you grew up, and during our days, we were taught about civic duty.
Right.
We were taught about the manner of behavior. After you eat your ice cream, you don't throw the thing until you see a trash can, right? In the meantime, you put in your pocket again. And then when the time comes, you put that into the trash. But these are the sort of behavior.
Education,
moral,
exactly.
Yes.
And one more thing very, very critical for Cambodia now is about plastic.
Yes.
Plastic. And in our day, we use banana leaf, right? You throw away, it disappears in a few months, right? But now plastic all over the place. So I think that is a thing that we have to consider. But about education, about family education, about community spirit, about countries as a country. What are we proud of?
I think you have pretty much wrapped up what I want to wrap up.
Okay.
By saying the last full summary. We have to think of what bond or what is the glue that tied together is a social fabric, right? So perhaps on that note, I want to just wrap up by saying that what we discussed in the last 45 minutes is all about good intent, how to build a better Cambodia in the context of a globalized economy and in the context of our friendship with Japan and their contribution to our development. But ultimately, it all boils down to the human value on how we treat each other as a country with respect. And I'm so glad to know today, from the first time in my life, know that the reason why there's so much emotional attachment, reciprocate from Japan, and moving forward, how do we continue to develop this long-term mutual respect, toward each other.
This is sorry to interrupt you, because I like to remind that the policies that forgive, not to request compensation from Japan, is the policies of our late king.
Yes.
Yeah. So do not forget.
To be fair to our late king. Yeah. So on that note, I think it's a high note to wrap up the session. And once again, Mokalyan, thank you so much. June, thank you so much for coming to the show.
No, I would just like people to revive their Khmer spirit back.
Yes.
We will help rehabilitation of Angkor Wat with Dr. Ishizawa in Sophia University, and this will be the leading cultural hub for whole ASEAN. All Vietnamese, everybody can come together to learn how to rehabilitate a stone cultural asset. These things are important.
Thank you. On that note, thank you, Bong. Thank you, June. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.